Chapter 81. You are listening at novelfold.audio. Uchiha Mikoto's advantages. Women are trouble. Looking at Uchiha Mikoto, who was about to cry again, Qianye frowned slightly. Everything has been made very clear. Sasuke's safe stay in Konoha is a deal between Itachi, Danzo, and the third Hokage, and there will definitely be no danger. Why are you still entangled here? It is not difficult for him to go back to Konoha and bring Uchiha Sasuke back, but now he is so far away from Konoha village, can he still go back? But, Uchiha Sasuke, the reincarnation of Indra, the son of the six-path sage. It is no exaggeration to describe his training talent as the best in the ninja world. Moreover, Sasuke is different from his brother Itachi. Itachi is Konoha's Itachi, and Sasuke is Uchiha Sasuke. At least it has been like this for a long time. This means that Sasuke can be used by Qianye, such a genius ninja, when he grows up, will definitely become a great help to him. Qianye is carefully thinking about the possibility of conquering Sasuke. Uchiha Mikoto looked at Qianye, who seemed to be thinking about something but remained silent for a long time, and the disappointment in her eyes became more and more intense. Yes, no matter what you want to do in this world, you have to pay a price. This point, 223, Mikoto is very clear. Especially her deceased husband is the patriarch of the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Fugaku. She has seen too many things and knows much more than people think. No one will go to Konoha to take risks for her children for no reason, unless she can come up with something that will make Qianye's heart move. But now she is no longer the respected wife of the patriarch. Too many things happened on the night of the Uchiha clan extermination. The Uchiha clan was seriously injured, and the patriarch Uchiha Fugaku died. The current Uchiha is Uchiha Qianye's Uchiha, and she is just a woman who lost her husband. With the death of Fugaku, all her former glory disappeared. There are even some extreme clan members who alienate and hate her because her son Uchiha Itachi betrayed the Uchiha clan. What can she do to impress Uchiha Qianye, who now has absolute power in the Uchiha clan? This conversation ended in vain. Even if Qianye thought that Sasuke might be useful and could become a great help in the future, that was a matter for the future. Now, going to the land of water and settling down the Uchiha clan members was the top priority. As for Sasuke, there would be plenty of opportunities in the future. After a rest in the afternoon and enduring the scorching sun, when the weather improved a little, Qianye and his party set out again. They stopped to rest when night fell. More than 100 Uchiha clan members rested in the house built by Qianye using the wood release ninjutsu, which was relatively safe. Although it was a bit of a waste of resources to use the wood release that was enough to conquer the world to do these things, it was really useful. However, when the night was quiet and the Uchiha clan members fell asleep, on the top of a distant mountain, a group of people were staring at this place. Wood release. I never thought that after that legendary ninja, this terrifying bloodline would appear again. The one who spoke was the leading ninja. He was about 30 years old, with a neat short yellow hair and a handsome appearance. His name was Shi, and he was the commander-in-chief of this surprise attack plan. He also had a very high status in the hidden cloud village, and was deeply trusted by the fourth Raikage, and was regarded as the left hand of the fourth Raikage. The fact that the hidden cloud village sent a ninja like him showed how much importance they attached to this operation. Would release. I'm afraid it's more than that. Beside she, a young female ninja of 17 or 18 said solemnly. She had short yellow hair, bangs, and delicate features. She was no worse than the famous young beauty ninjas of Konoha, Yuhi Kurenai and Yuzuki Yugao, but the most eye-catching thing was her eye-catching figure, tall and curvy, especially the abyss below the collarbone that made it impossible to gaze into, which was absolutely worthy of the word breathtaking. She was really the best among the rest. Considering her young age, she still had a certain amount of room for growth. This woman's future was limitless. She, who is called the left hand of the Raikage, looked at this young female ninja with great interest. Samui is one of the most outstanding ninjas of the younger generation in the hidden cloud village. In addition to her excellent ninjutsu, she also has a very calm mind and can make the most correct judgment under any circumstances. The main reason for coming with him this time is to gain some experience and gain some knowledge. Samui, what else did you see? She asked. Uchiha. Samui's blue-green eyes revealed a solemn look. Don't ever forget, his last name is Uchiha and the symbol of the Uchiha clan, the Sharingan. The Sharingan is almost as powerful as would release. To read exciting novels, go to Faloo Novel Network. Now it has appeared on one person at the same time. In the ninja world, almost no one does not know about the great battle that took place in the Valley of the End. The first generation Hokage, Hashirama Senju, who possessed the wood release, fought against Uchiha Madara, who opened the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. And now, the unique skills that made these two legendary ninjas famous have appeared on one person at the same time. How can it not be shocking? It was the first time that she saw such a solemn look on the face of this calm-minded but extremely proud female ninja. However, this analysis is right. Uchiha Qianye is indeed powerful, although they have made full preparations and even sent that person, but they are still very careful and dare not be negligent in the slightest. They know that the Uchiha clan's Sharingan has an extremely powerful insight, so they have always followed from a distance and never approached. First, because of the agreement reached between them and Konoha. They cannot attack the Uchiha clan before the Uchiha clan really leaves Konoha. Second, it is also their own calculation. Get ready, and attack in an hour. She half closed his eyes and said in a deep voice, but, a ninja nearby hesitated, this is still Konoha's territory. If we act rashly, wouldn't that violate the agreement we reached earlier? Wouldn't it be more appropriate to wait until the Uchiha clan leaves the land of fire before taking action? No, now is the best time. Shouldn't the best opportunity be when Uchiha just left Konoha? The previous ninja was a little puzzled. He really didn't understand why now was the best time. Logically speaking, shouldn't the best time be when the Uchiha clan just left Konoha? At that time, the Uchiha clan was full of wounded soldiers and was extremely weak. That was the best time to make a move, and now the Uchiha, after such a long rest, the original injuries have healed, so how come it has become the best time? Isn't tonight exactly the same as last night? What's the difference? Seeing the confusion of the ninja next to him, she didn't say much, but looked at Samui beside him and asked, Samui, what do you think? Samui replied, I think the weakest time for the Uchiha clan is of course when the Uchiha clan just left Konoha. But at that time, the Uchiha clan was in chaos due to the misfortune, and the people were in turmoil. It seemed like a great opportunity. But it was just an appearance. At that time, Konoha had already clearly stated that it was not allowed to attack the Uchiha clan. There must be many ninjas protecting them in secret, and the number may be more than what we have seen before. Because the Uchiha clan was too weak at that time, so weak that they might not be able to deal with our attacks, so at that time, our opponent was definitely not the Uchiha clan, but Konoha. Unless we really want to start a war, we must not do this. In addition, many people, teams, and families should be more vigilant when they are weaker, and their vigilance will decrease as they become stronger. When they first left Konoha, the Uchiha clan had just suffered a heavy blow, but their strength was still not to be underestimated. This is a family that possesses the Sharingan. It is not a good choice to confront such a group of people head-on. Even if Konoha's Umbu didn't intervene, the price we have to pay would definitely be high. Long before this, the ninjas of the Hidden Cloud Village had already discovered the Konoha Umbu following closely behind the Uchiha clan. This is not to say that the Konoha Umbu are incompetent, rather, the Konoha Umbu simply don't have much idea of hiding their tracks. This is especially true for the 0.7 team of the Hidden Cloud Village. Konoha is telling the Hidden Cloud Village in this way that no one can touch the Uchiha within the scope of the Land of Fire. In addition, another point mentioned by Samui is also very convincing. In order not to be seen by the Uchiha clan's Sharingan, although they had been tracking from a distance, not daring to get really close, however, they had mostly grasped the situation of the Uchiha clan, and they did relax a little. When they first left Konoha, the Uchiha clan would send people to stand guard outside at night to prevent any accidents. But now, it seems that there are no more. So, when the Uchiha first left Konoha, it was not a very good choice. The ninja who asked the question just now nodded. He understood these from Samui's words, but what about the others? Why is now the best opportunity? Why is now the best opportunity? Samui paused for a moment, then continued, the Uchiha clan has been safe and sound since Konoha. After tonight, tomorrow they will be completely out of the Fire Country's sphere of influence and enter the Whirlpool Country's territory. The situation in the Whirlpool country is very different from that in the Fire country. Chapter 82. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A plan that can only succeed and not fail. The land of whirlpools was originally the place where the Uzumaki clan lived. However, many years ago, with the annihilation of the Uzumaki clan, the land of whirlpools has become a no-man's land. There are no ninja villages or families in it, and most of the people are civilians. However, this does not mean that the land of whirlpools is safe. On the contrary, the lack of large ninja villages and families has made it a real lawless area. Many ninjas who have drifted away, and even some ninja villages have established forces here. Without the deterrence and management of big countries and ninja villages, these people or forces act more unscrupulously and do whatever they want. The situation in the land of whirlpools has therefore become a mixed bag, and it is not as simple as it seems on the surface. Any ninja with a little experience will know this, so there is no need to say more. Samui paused for a moment, and then said, "Tomorrow, the Uchiha clan will enter the land of whirlpools. After entering the land of whirlpools, the Uchiha clan will once again raise their guard in preparation for any eventuality. In other words, tonight is the last night that the Uchiha clan can rest in peace. They will definitely take a good rest to prepare for the challenges that may arise later. In other words, tonight is the time when the Uchiha clan is at their lowest alert. The same is true for Konoha's ninjas. We followed closely all the way, behaved ourselves and did not take any action. We only need to wait one more day. If we take action, Konoha will no longer interfere. They must have thought that we would abide by the agreement and wait until the Uchiha clan left the land of fire before taking action. There is only one day left. Who would have thought that we would choose tonight to make the move?" Samui talked freely and sorted out everything in an orderly manner. Even she, who was called the left hand of the fourth Kage, could not help but nod his head in praise. Samui had such a calm mind, analysis and overall view at such a young age, which was really amazing. At least, he believed that he could not do this when he was young, and there are more than one genius ninja like Samui in the Hidden Cloud village. If he can get the Sharingan and the bloodline limit of would release this time. The Hidden Cloud village has a promising future, and it is not a problem for Mai to become the veritable first ninja village. The other ninjas also admired him very much. Logically speaking, Samui is obviously a rookie with no experience, but he is much stronger than many of them present. It really has to be said that the gap between people is a bit too big. "Do you have any questions?" she asked the ninja beside him. "No more." All the ninjas lowered their voices and said solemnly, "Okay." She nodded and raised her hand slightly. "Go down and prepare. When the time comes, set off immediately." The ninjas were silent and used the instant body technique to leave. In the blink of an eye, she and Samui were the only two people left on the hillside. Should that person be informed as well? Samui asked. A strange look suddenly appeared on Shi's face. That person, yes. In addition to the many elite jonin present in this raid on the Uchiha clan, they also prepared a secret weapon, and this secret weapon has an exaggeratedly powerful ability. It is enough to deal with all possible problems. Even Uchiha Qianye, who has the Sharingan and would release, can't stop it. It's just that person's temper is somewhat special. Sometimes it often makes people feel both amused and sad. Let them know. She said calmly. "Of course, we should let them know before we start such an important matter, so as to avoid any trouble. Although that person is powerful, he is not very reliable." "Yes." Samui accepted the order and left the spot with a flash. She stayed where he was, looking at the Uchiha clan who seemed to be resting in the distance. For this operation, they had gone through a series of calculations and comprehensive preparations. They were determined to succeed and would not allow any failure. The Uchiha clan leaving Konoha was like duckweed without water, destined to be swallowed up. They must seize the opportunity. They must not be beaten to it by other ninja villages. This was not only about the Sharingan and would release, but there was also a high possibility that there was a secret about Konoha village. This was the unanimous conclusion reached by the internal discussion of the Hidden Cloud village, because Konoha's reaction was too. It was surprising. After what happened to the Uchiha clan, they just let them go. They even sent ninjas to protect them and forbid anyone to attack the Uchiha clan. It was like they were guarding a secret, fearing that it would be known. It was precisely because of this that the Hidden Cloud village had to attack the Uchiha clan. if this attack was successful, it would not only increase the strength of the hidden cloud village, but it would also be very likely to find intelligence that would deal a heavy blow to Konoha, thereby raising the status of the hidden cloud village in the ninja world to a higher level, surpassing Konoha and becoming the true #1 ninja village. Therefore, this time they could only succeed and not fail. The night was getting deeper and deeper, especially in the forest. The dense trees blocked out the sun, and the bright moon could only cast a little light. The forest seemed dark, damp, and gloomy. The Uchiha clan lived in the house that Qianye temporarily built with the wood-release ninjutsu. To read the exciting novel, go to Faloo Novel Network. There was no one guarding or keeping watch around, not far from the Uchiha clan's resting place. There were about 20 Konoha ninjas who were watching in secret. They received an order to protect the Uchiha clan until the Uchiha clan left the land of fire. It has been like this for such a long time. At night, they watched the Uchiha clan enter the house built by Qianye's would-release ninjutsu, and they took turns to watch in the wilderness. Don't mention how aggrieved they were, in particular. The Konoha ninjas and the Uchiha clan have never gotten along well, which made this kind of boredom have a tendency to spread. If it weren't for the Sandaime and Danzo's repeated warnings, they would have wanted to quit long ago. Fortunately, these miserable days are about to end. One night, they only need to get through tonight, and by tomorrow, the Uchiha clan will have left the territory of the Land of Fire. They have finally completed the mission. Now, with more than 20 ninjas, most of them have leaned against the tree and started to rest. Only the 3 ninjas who were on duty were still awake, staring closely at the direction of the Uchiha clan. Even though there were no problems before, they did not let down their guard. This time, the Sandaime also gave them a death order, and no mistakes could be made. It's finally over. One of the ninjas sighed. This mission was not tiring, but they felt a little unhappy. They would rather do more difficult missions than do these things here. Hey, when tomorrow's over and we get back to the village, how about we go have a barbecue together? Okay, I haven't had a decent meal in a long time. Then it's a deal. The 3 ninjas chatted quietly, discussing how to reward themselves after this plan. Suddenly, a dazzling light flashed in front of the 3 of them, and the speed was very fast. It was so fast that it almost made people wonder if it was an illusion. Hey, why am I so sleepy? One of the ninjas half closed his eyes gradually blurred and he was not clear. At the same time, the 2 ninjas beside him also had the same situation. The scene in front of them gradually became illusory, and finally fainted. After that, a figure slowly walked out. He had a neat yellow short hair and looked a little handsome. It was she, who was called the left hand of the 4th generation Raikage. He not only had a calm mind and rich experience, but also his illusion was unique. The flash of light just now was the ninjutsu he performed, the lightning illusion. The lightning light column, the whole body turned into lightning, and under the deception of the lightning, people enter the illusion before they could react, especially when it comes unexpectedly. It often works wonders. Now, the 3 guarding and sentry ninjas have been dealt with. The remaining ninjas were not far away, still resting, and did not realize that the crisis was approaching step by step. Behind 4 or 5 ninjas came forward. They held kunai and shurikens in their hands. Shoot at the Konoha ninja who was still sleeping not far away. The Konoha ninja had no time to resist and died without even realizing it. They were about to attack the Uchiha clan. The Konoha ninja in the dark could not be ignored. Dealing with it in advance would be of great benefit to their subsequent actions. What Konoha's elite? I think they are just like this. The guards are so sparse. The first ninja village. Ha! A ninja following behind the department sneered. That's right, Konoha is no longer viable, and the world will be ruled by our hidden cloud village in the future. Immediately, someone else echoed. She raised his hand to interrupt the conversation of several people. First, this is just the beginning, and their mission is far from complete. In addition, the ninjas of Konoha village are certainly not as vulnerable as they seem. Otherwise, they would not have to be so cautious and have to wait until now to take action. This situation occurred because they took action suddenly and unexpectedly. Also, this is in the territory of the Land of Fire, and for so long, they have been at peace with the ninjas of Konoha, so they are somewhat slack in their hearts, which is why it is like this. If it is a head-on confrontation, they may be able to win with their advantage in numbers, but it will definitely not be easy. Konoha is not as vulnerable as they see it. Let's go. She said solemnly. then, with a body flash technique, all the ninjas left and disappeared. Only the bodies of Konoha ninjas were left on the ground. The bright moonlight was gradually obscured by dark clouds, and the wind started to blow. Chapter 83. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Attack. Wait, where are the people? In the silent night, under the leadership of Shi, the ninjas of the hidden cloud village jumped towards the wooden house where the Uchiha clan temporarily lived. They stopped when they were still some distance away. This was due to their concerns about the Sharingan. Although the hidden cloud village did not have the Sharingan, it did not mean that they had not studied the Sharingan. In the previous ninja world wars, they had faced this powerful bloodline more than once. They already had a lot of understanding of the power of the Sharingan. They knew the abnormal insight of the Sharingan. Often, they could perceive the abnormalities around them without waiting to get completely close. Of course, even the most abnormal insight was limited by distance. Therefore, based on their usual experience, they stopped immediately after reaching what they thought was the warning line, and did not move forward. She half squinted his eyes and looked at the silent wooden house where the Uchiha clan lived, his eyes full of cold murderous intent. Aren't you going to move forward a little further? Samui asked. This distance was much farther than what they thought was the maximum range of the Uchiha clan's Sharingan's insight. The power of the Uchiha clan's Sharingan is not exactly the same, but varies from person to person. Legend has it that if the Sharingan evolves into the Mangekyo Sharingan, its abilities will be enhanced in all aspects, which is something we don't have any information on. Although we don't know what stage Uchiha Qianye has reached, but the Mangekyo Sharingan is a legendary existence, and Uchiha Qianye has never reached that stage. However, we still cannot be careless and must ensure that the mission is foolproof. She explained patiently. He admired this young man with outstanding talent and ability, and he was looking forward to how Sam would grow in the future. Yes. Samui nodded. He took Shi's words seriously. He could not look down on anyone, especially, they were facing Uchiha Qianye, who had the Sharingan and would release 2 bloodline limits. It seemed a bit too cautious to do so. However, it was not necessarily unreasonable. Go. She raised his arm and made a gesture. Behind him, more than a dozen ninjas rushed forward. They quickly approached and immediately performed ninjutsu at the same time when they were within the attack range. Their speed and agility showed that they were well trained and had strong team combat capabilities. Lightning escape Sonda Mulyodo. In an instant, lightning balls flashing with dazzling light appeared in the darkness, and smashed towards the wooden house where the Uchiha clan lived at a very fast speed. The level of this ninjutsu is not high, and the power can only be considered acceptable, but it has the advantage of low chakra consumption and fast casting speed. Almost in the blink of an eye, more than a dozen ninjas immediately condensed the light balls and started the second attack. At this time, the first wave of light balls was still in the air. Boom boom boom. When the ninjas of the hidden cloud village began to condense 3 waves of light balls, a dazzling white light lit up in the silent night, accompanied by a deafening explosion. However, the actions of the ninjas of the hidden cloud village continued. One by one, the light balls condensed and then exploded. Soon, wood chips and soil splashed and flew everywhere. Even though it was still a long distance away, the terrible shock wave and power could still be felt. The explosion lasted for nearly a minute. During this minute, the houses on the ground were almost bombarded indiscriminately. So much so that even after stopping, the houses on the ground, dust and smoke still filled the air, and the naked eye could not see the situation clearly. The plan of the Cloud Village ninjas was basically completed, destroying the houses where the Uchiha clan lived. Now it seems that they have not experienced any resistance for the time being. However, Samui frowned slightly, and he had smelled a hint of something unusual. Although everything seemed to be going well, however, there was no scream, not at all. If they were facing ordinary enemies, this would not be surprising. It is normal to not be able to react to such a blow without knowing it. But you can't think like this when facing the Uchiha clan. Those ordinary members of the Uchiha clan are okay, but don't forget that there is another Uchiha Qianye in the Uchiha clan, a ninja who has both the Sharingan and would release bloodline limits. Others may not react. Uchiha Qianye will definitely not fail to react. Such an attack will definitely not kill Uchiha Qianye. No. Samui said in a deep voice, with a wary look. She also frowned. This situation was very different from what he had imagined. if Uchiha Qianye could be solved so easily, then they wouldn't have to bring that person here, be on guard. She shouted in a low voice. The other ninjas were all stunned. The plan was clearly implemented so smoothly, and the people of the Uchiha clan should not die anymore, so why should they be on guard? They didn't understand, but it didn't stop them from following orders. They were all experienced ninjas, and they knew that no matter what the situation was, it was always right to follow orders, and they shouldn't ask questions that they shouldn't ask, especially at a critical moment like now. Since the leader said so, there must be some danger, and they couldn't relax. All the ninjas were on high alert. To read the exciting novels, go to Faloo Novel Network. They stood back to back, forming a large circle, and vigilantly watched the darkness around them. However, the night was as dark as the sky that it was like a black hole. Nothing could be seen clearly. It was silent, with only the rustling sound of leaves in the breeze. Slowly, the dust stirred up by the bombing below dissipated, revealing a large pit. It is conceivable how terrifying the power just now was, but everyone also noticed another terrible thing. No one, not a single person. The people here are dead people and corpses. No matter how powerful they were just now, there should be no corpses, but now, let alone corpses, there is not even a broken arm or leg. There are only some remaining wood chips and soil. What about the Uchiha clan? If not here, where are they? The ninjas of the Hidden Cloud Village couldn't help but panic in their hearts. It was obviously a matter that was in their hands, but suddenly such a big accident occurred. Many times, what is frightening is often not the known danger, but the existence of the past, and now the ninjas of the Hidden Cloud Village are facing the latter. The Uchiha clan is obviously not in front of them, but they are always by their side. Maybe they will come out from the dark and attack them at any time, just like how they dealt with the Uchiha clan before. Only she and Samui could still maintain a certain degree of calm. Don't panic, let's retreat, she said in a deep voice. The Uchiha people were not here, which meant that they had seen through their plan in advance. Maybe they were watching them in the dark, or maybe they had set a trap and were waiting for them to fall, but in any case, they couldn't stay here any longer. It was not suitable to stay here for a long time. Leaving here and going to a safer place as soon as possible was what they should do now, but at this moment, in the silent night, a light laugh suddenly came. Oh, now that you are here, are you in such a hurry to leave? The voice was not loud, but it was loud enough to reach everyone's ears. The voice was calm and firm, as if it had already taken control of everything. She and Sammy looked in the direction where the voice came from. In the dark night sky, a pair of eyes with blood-red light appeared in the air. Light the fire, Samui ordered hastily, and the rebellious ninja lit the torch. The originally dark forest suddenly became brighter. Uchiha Qianye's figure also appeared in everyone's eyes, a young ninja of 17 or 18 years old, handsome and impeccable. He floated in the air, with a wooden dragon several tens of meters long under his feet. The wooden dragon hovered in the air, full of shocking power. Just one man and one dragon. But all the ninjas of the Hidden Cloud Village felt a strong sense of oppression. Uchiha Qianye. Samui frowned, and her usually calm face could not hide her inner shock. In the Hidden Cloud Village, except for a few who could compete with her, she did not take the others seriously. She therefore considered herself to be the best among her peers, and one of the top ones. But now, looking at Uchiha Qianye, who appeared on a dragon, knew she was wrong. The young man in front of her was about the same age as him, but his strength was definitely more than one level higher than hers. Before they even fought, she had already determined that she would definitely lose. Her original pride and self-confidence were destroyed in an instant. The gap was too big, so big that she couldn't even think of resisting. She was more calm and experienced. When he saw Qianye appear, except for the initial shock, his heart, which was originally hanging, slowly fell. What he was afraid of was that Qianye and the Uchiha clan would hide in the dark and set up some traps or tricks, instead of Qianye appearing openly like now. Enemies in the open are always much easier to deal with than those in the dark. What's more, in order to deal with Uchiha Qianye, they have made full preparations. Didn't that person come just to deal with Uchiha Qianye? As long as Uchiha Qianye can be defeated, the remaining Uchiha clansmen will sooner or later become fish in the net. Who is that? She lowered his voice and said to Sam beside him, this. Samui's expression brightened. Yes, she was no match for Uchiha Qianye, but they still had that person. With that person's power, they would not lose to anyone. But where was that person? Chapter 84. You are listening at novelfold.audio. Karabi. The Eight Tails Jinchūriki. Qianye rode the wooden dragon and approached little by little. He was just one person, but the oppressive feeling he brought made so many ninjas at the scene tremble from the bottom of their hearts. Among them, Qianye's strength was of course one aspect, and on the other hand, the original plan was completely disrupted, and almost all the ninjas of the Hidden Cloud village inevitably fell into panic. She frowned slightly and couldn't help but want to swear, even if they were to fight against the Uchiha clan head-on, they would definitely have enough manpower, but now, the man who was originally given high hopes to deal with Uchiha Qianye suddenly disappeared at this critical moment. He is really as unreliable as always. But, it happened that the adult had a special identity, and even he, who was called the left hand of the fourth Raikage, had no power to blame. Samui's face was not very good either. After all, it was him who went to inform that adult, and now, when that adult should take action, he disappeared. She is more or less responsible. Don't panic, calm down. Calm down. She tried his best to calm people's hearts. No matter what, they have the advantage in personnel. Even if that adult is not here, they still have the ability to compete with the Uchiha clan. As for that adult, he just made this battle easier. Even if there are some temporary failures, there is no need to be afraid. But, even as calm as he is, he can't help sweating in his palms even though he clearly understands everything. The powerful pressure brought by this young ninja in front of him is too terrible. He has never seen such a terrible ninja, not even in that adult, or even in the fourth Raikage. Let's go together. She said in a deep voice, let's go together. Anyway, there is only 220 Uchiha Qianye now. He still doesn't believe that so many of them can't beat one person. The other ninjas also reacted quickly. No matter how powerful the momentum is, how strong the enemy is, you have to try it to know. Lightning escape thunderball. Lightning escape black spots. There are rows of ninjas from the Cloud Shadow village, adding up to more than 100 people. All of them are first-class jonins, and there are quite a few elite jonins, even those above elite jonins and below the level of Kage. The crackling lightning ninjutsu flashed with dazzling white light, making it difficult to look directly at. However, what is even more exaggerated is the terrifying power and speed. Needless to say, the power of this attack, more than 100 ninjas are more than the root organization ninjas in the night of the Uchiha clan extermination a few days ago. These many ninjas are performing ninjutsu at the same time, towards the same target. Among them, the power of a single one may not be that great, but so many ninjutsu mixed together have already formed a qualitative change through the accumulation of quantity, and have truly reached an unimaginable level. At this time, even a real Kage-level strongman can only temporarily avoid the edge here, and dare not confront head-on, and the other one is fast. There is no need to explain it. Lightning is originally an existence known for its speed in this world. Now under the control of chakra, it still has this attribute. It had just appeared, but it was in front of him in a breath. But Qianye stayed in the air without moving. His eyes were cold and indifferent, and there was a hint of contempt, as if he didn't take the ninjutsu performed by so many ninjas seriously. Even the wooden dragon under his feet was the same. The wooden dragon was transformed by the wood escape ninjutsu, and originally had no intelligence, but at a moment, it seemed to feel the master's intention and looked extremely arrogant. It turned and moved in the air, and howled to the sky. It was like the high and mighty Dragon King was looking at the extremely humble humans on the ground. The dazzling white light came in an instant with terrifying power. It hit the wooden dragon hard. Boom. An extremely loud sound. The dazzling white light suddenly lit up, illuminating the surroundings like daylight, and then slowly disappeared. The ninjas of the Hidden Cloud village were breathing heavily. Just now, in order to strive to kill with one blow, they all tried their best and used the strongest ninjutsu they mastered. The chakra consumed was also very huge. It caused a lot of consumption to them. They believed that under such an attack, no one could survive. However, as the white light gradually dissipated, the expressions on their faces froze. Uchiha Qianye, injured. Only the dragon head under his feet and the seemingly indestructible body were slightly damaged, but it was obviously not serious, but added a bit of fierceness to the wooden dragon. How is this possible? The novel was taken from the Rawlers website. Close where you're reading it and support us on our website for more free novels. She stared blankly at Uchiha Qianye, who was standing on the wooden dragon with his arms folded across his chest. He seemed to know why Konoha would willingly let the Uchiha clan leave. Samui's face was slightly pale. In addition to the shock on her face, there was also a bit of strangeness. He was almost the same age as her, but he possessed such terrible strength. She had never seen such a person. Uchiha Qianye, what kind of person are you? Facing the shocked eyes of the ninjas from the hidden cloud village below, Qianye looked indifferent. To read the violent novel, go to Faloo Novel Network. Since he had the Uchiha clan extermination night simulation system, he has seen this kind of look more than once, and even, a little bored. This did not make him feel proud at all, but only a boring feeling. I thought the hidden cloud village had prepared some big moves. That's it? Boring. Just when he was about to make a move and wipe out all these weak ants, a somewhat lame rap suddenly came from the originally silent knight. You idiot, you bastard. It almost ruined the event. Hearing this voice, the eyes of the Cloud Village ninjas, who were originally in shock and panic, suddenly rose with hope. Although they have always been troubled by such rap, but now there is really no sound better than this. That adult, here he is. With a body flickering technique, he appeared directly in the sight of everyone. Dark skin, light yellow hair, wearing sunglasses on his face, looks a bit weird. He has 7 knives on his body, each of which is extremely sharp. That is his weapon. For ordinary people, it is extremely rare to be able to use a knife well, but this ninja, 7 knives in turn, still seem to be at ease and very skilled. This man is the secret weapon of the Cloud Shadow Village, the younger brother of the 4th Raikage, with a hidden the-tailed beast, the 8-tail killer bee, known as the perfect Jinchūriki. As early as the 3rd Shinobi World War, Killer Bee was already a famous strong man. He once fought with Minato Namikaze, who was called Yellow Flash and later became the 4th Hokage, and the battle ended in a draw. After so many years, his strength has become even more unfathomable and elusive. In the hidden Cloud Village where martial arts are popular, Killer Bee is the 2nd most powerful person in terms of strength, second only to the 4th Raikage. If it weren't for the fact that this matter was so critical, the 4th Raikage would not have sent Killer Bee to take action. At this time, with a roll, Killer Bee was already in front of Qianye. 7 ninja swords chopped out in turn. The speed and moves were dazzling, and it was difficult to see clearly. If an ordinary Kage-level strong man was here, being in such close combat with Killer Bee, he will surely be injured within 3 moves. Killer Bee's physical skills are stronger than anyone Qianye has ever seen. Of course, this does not include Kai with all 8 gates open. However, Renai's mood is still calm. He knows that in the original world of Naruto, Uchiha Sasuke, who possesses the Mangekyo Sharingan, once had a battle with Killer Bee. At that time, Sasuke suffered a lot under Killer Bee's 7 ninja swords. It's not that Sasuke couldn't see Killer Bee's movements clearly, but that he couldn't keep up. Killer Bee's speed is really too fast. But Qianye is different. With the physique of Otsutsuki, he doesn't need to practice physical skills deliberately. When his strength improves again and again, and he can become stronger naturally, this allows him to keep up with Killer Bee's movements. It's even faster than Killer Bee. Qianye held a kunai in his hand. No matter which knife Killer Bee used or where he chopped, he could respond accurately and with ease. During this process, Qianye did not control the wooden dragon to attack. It's not that he couldn't, but that he didn't want to. It's not easy to meet such a master of physical skills. Of course he has to have fun. It would be boring to be solved so quickly. Killer Bee frowned. He has realized that the matter is unusual. Before this, except for his brother, the 4th Raikage, he had never met a person who could compete with him in physical skills. The young man in front of him is very extraordinary. However, he did not forget to take advantage of him, and kept using strange rap accents to disturb Qianye's psychology. I'm in a really good mood today and can write some nice rhymes. Thank you. In that case, let me play with you. Fly, little fool. Fly like a colorful butterfly. Killer Bee kept chattering, as if he would never stop. Although he looked a little weird and reckless, his mind and the way he analyzed the entire battle situation were very powerful. He knew when to do what and how to trap the enemy. Uchiha Qianye was so young, but he had such terrible strength, which was really amazing. but just like those true genius ninjas, the more such people are, the more arrogant they are, and they can't wait to prove themselves. He deliberately angered Qianye, just to make Qianye angry and thus show a flaw, but the result seems to be a little wrong. Bang! The kunai and Killer Bee's ninja sword collided fiercely, splashing dazzling flames. The two then retreated in opposite directions. Chapter 85. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Don't set the flag too early. Qianye still stayed in the air. Killer Bee stood in front of the hidden cloud village ninja. Good. Lord Kurabi is here. With Lord Killer Bee here, there is no need to worry about anything. The ninjas of the hidden cloud village cheered. Obviously, they had 100% trust in the perfect Jinchūriki Killer Bee. After all, Killer Bee was a man with the power of the tailed beast. In the fight with Uchiha Qianye just now, he was not at all inferior. They all believed that Killer Bee would be able to deal with Uchiha Qianye. And a trace of solemnity flashed across Killer Bee's expression. The fight just now seemed to be evenly matched, but in fact it was not entirely so. He always felt that the young ninja in front of him did not seem to use his full strength, whether it was defending or attacking. It was too easy, as if he was taking a leisurely walk in the garden. It was really too easy, and he had already used his full strength. What a terrible enemy. However, he did not show this solemnity on the surface. There was still a faint smile on the corner of his mouth, and he kept chattering in his usual tone. I still have energy left, my charm shines. I am eight-tailed Shabi Kurabi, oh. Yeah. While singing, he raised two fingers and made a victory sign. Shabi Kurabi. Qianye's mouth curled up slightly, and he couldn't help but feel a little funny. Hip-hop master, is this a rhyme that is too strong, even scolding yourself? However, let's not talk about how it is sung. This lyrics are really rubbish, and single rhyme is also considered rhyme. Lord Kurabi, how is it? She walked to Kurabi's side and asked in a low voice. Although he was full of confidence in Kurabi, he still couldn't help asking one more question. Following she was Samui, she was Kurabi's apprentice. Kurabi had a smile on his face, but he lowered his voice and said to she and Samui, you too, it depends on the situation later. If the battle situation is not favorable, leave immediately. Don't hesitate at all. Then he used a very lame rap to cover up, you idiot, you bastard. She and Samui's expressions changed slightly, but they immediately controlled themselves. What Kurabi said means that even the perfect Jinchūriki is not sure to defeat Uchiha Qianye. He was extremely shocked, but he couldn't show it at all. Showing it would only make people feel scattered and panicked, and it would be useless. What they need to do most now is to stabilize people's hearts so that they can help Kurabi lock in the victory at the most critical moment, or escape in time. As for Kurabi's life or death, that is not what they worry about. Kurabi is a perfect Jinchūriki with unfathomable strength. If he wants to leave, no one in the world can keep him. If they stay here, they will become a hindrance and be restrained by Uchiha Qianye. In just a moment, she has already designated two completely different plans, advance or retreat. It depends on the outcome of the battle. He and Samui beside him looked at each other and nodded slightly. Many times, the communication between smart people is like this. There is no need to say too much. A look or a gesture can make the other party understand what they mean. Don't worry. With Lord Kurabi here, nothing will happen. She said to the ninjas of the hidden cloud village with a confident smile on his face. Very good. I knew it would be like this. Let's go. Let's go and help Master Kurabi. Go. Kill this Uchiha. After hearing Shi's confirmation, the ninjas of the hidden cloud village got rid of the previous defeat by Qianye, and they were eager to try. Some even wanted to go into battle themselves, relying on the presence of Killer Bee. Shi and Samui were shocked. Go. I'm afraid he is going to die. What kind of existence is Uchiha Qianye? How can they fight against him? Isn't the confrontation just now enough to prove everything? That is an existence that even Lord Killer Bee does not have absolute confidence to defeat. Looking at the increasingly angry ninjas of the hidden cloud village, Samui interrupted quickly. Everyone listen to me. Lord Killer Bee said that he wanted to have a real showdown with this young Uchiha to prove that the ninjutsu of our hidden cloud village is stronger than the Uchiha clan's Sharingan. Are you going to spoil Teacher Kurabi's fun? As soon as this sentence came out, the faces of the ninjas present changed immediately. This is not because Kurabi is very cruel and the ninjas of the Hidden Cloud Village are afraid of him. In fact, in the Hidden Cloud Village, Kurabi is a very kind person. The only thing that makes people feel terrified is that Kurabi likes rap very much, especially likes to hold concerts. Every time he holds a concert, he likes to drag countless ninjas from the Hidden Cloud Village to listen, but Kurabi's status in the Hidden Cloud Village is so high that they have to go. They can only make excuses. Now, if they dare to spoil the fun, when they return to the Hidden Cloud Village, they will be arranged to perform 10 or 8 shows. A concert, that weird accent and lyrics, just thinking about it is a terrible torture. So everyone shrank their heads, and no one mentioned helping Killer Bee. She breathed a sigh of relief. Just now he was thinking about how to dissuade these angry ninjas. Fortunately, Samui was there and solved the problem perfectly without arousing any suspicion. He let out a long breath and said, "Everyone disperse around and be ready. Once Uchiha Qianye is defeated, we will surround him and don't let Uchiha Qianye get away." Yes. The ninjas of the Hidden Cloud Village shouted, and dispersed and prepared for battle. Seeing that everything was ready, she and Samui looked at each other, and then they slightly revealed their inner solemnity. To read the exciting novel, go to Faloo Novel Network. Let the ninjas of the Hidden Cloud Village disperse. In name, it was to prevent Uchiha Qianye from escaping. In fact, it was also to facilitate their own escape. More than 100 ninjas scattered from different directions. Even if the most powerful ninja wanted to catch them, it might not be so easy. Next, it depends on Lord Kurabi. In the dark night illuminated by the fire, Qianye fought with Kurabi again. One used a kunai, and the other used 7 ninja swords to attack at the same time. There was a crackling sound accompanied by the dazzling sparks from the friction. They fell frequently. At the beginning, it was still I can barely see some traces, but later, I feel dazzled and dizzy. I just feel that how could there be such advanced physical skills and such fast speed in this world? It is really incredible. How many moves can they withstand under such an attack? 1 move. Or can they not withstand any move at all? This is really a desperate gap. Some ninjas who were eager to try to help Killer Bee just now couldn't help but sweat. It's a good thing that they didn't go because of Samui's obstruction. If they had gone, what would have happened? I'm afraid they would have died. Samui also frowned slightly. As Killer Bee's apprentice, she knows her teacher too well. In terms of physical skills, the 4 Raikage may be able to suppress Killer Bee a little, but in the use of ninja tools, the entire Cloud Village, including no one, including the 4th Raikage, could be compared with Killer Bee, and now, he was blocked by an Uchiha youth who was not much different in age from her. This was something she could not believe at first, but now, it happened right in front of her eyes. Uchiha Qianye, Sharingan, would release, super strong physical skills and the use of ninja tools. This man is too scary. She also half squinted his eyes, pondering in silence. He had a vague premonition in his heart. A bad premonition. In the dark night, Qianye withdrew the wooden dragon and started a duel of physical skills and ninja tools with Killer Bee, and he just felt refreshed. Since the night of the Uchiha clan annihilation, he has not fought with others so happily for a long time. He waved the kunai in his hand. The insight and observation ability of the Sharingan allowed him to clearly see every move of Killer Bee. Action, and the Otsutsuki physique allows his body to keep up with his consciousness. With the combination of the two, even if Kurabi is faster, it is not at all. In fact, if Qianye hadn't wanted to stretch his muscles, Kurabi would have been defeated, and now, after fighting for a few minutes, Kurabi has basically run out of tricks and can't come up with any new tricks. The confrontation of physical skills and ninja tools can stop. Bang. A collision. Qianye suddenly increased his strength and speed of movement. Kurabi was about to use the ninja sword in his hand to look at Qianye's right arm. Suddenly, he saw that Qianye's kunai had reached his chest without knowing when. He hurriedly changed his moves and took a step back, but it was still too late. The cold blade of the kunai slashed Kurabi's strong chest, leaving a scar about an inch deep. Hiss. Kurabi endured the severe pain and hurriedly used the instant body technique to distance himself. Qianye didn't chase him further. Now he is more of a cat and mouse mentality. Neither Killer Bee nor the ninjas from the Hidden Cloud Village were on the same level as him. He was just having fun. Ah. Seeing Killer Bee injured, the ninjas of the Hidden Cloud Village couldn't help but exclaim, the scene that should have been crushed immediately and quickly ended the battle did not appear. Instead, after a not-so-easy battle, the extremely powerful and perfect Jinchūriki killer bee in their hearts was injured. This. Could it be that even the perfect Jinchūriki killer bee is not Uchiha Qianye's opponent? She and Samui also stared at the injured killer bee closely. At this juncture, no matter what they said, it would be pale and powerless, to be able to become elite jonin. These people are not fools, they can see clearly with their eyes that nothing they say will be of any use, they can only keep weighing in their hearts whether they should withdraw now. 1. Chapter 86. You are listening at novelfold.audio. Tailed Beast Transformation. Helpless Situation. Yeah. I bit my tongue and almost farted. You idiot. You stupid. Just when everyone was panicking, hesitant, and didn't know what to do, Kurabi's lame rap started again. In the past, they wanted to plug their ears when they heard Kurabi's rap, the farther away the better, but now, they feel that there is no better music in the world than this lame rap. Master Kurabi is fine. He is fine. Lord Kurabi was just giving in to that kid. With Lord Kurabi's strength, how could he lose? Lord Kurabi will win. Below, the ninjas of the Hidden Cloud Village shouted again, Kurabi is fine. At this juncture, there is no better news than this. She and Samui finally breathed a sigh of relief. At least now, they don't have to make that decision. Kurabi still has the strength to fight. The eight-tailed killer of Bikurabi is me, yeah. How could I lose? You idiots, you fools. Kurabi was as relaxed and humorous as usual, as if he could easily solve any problem. Then, he looked at Uchiha Qianye, who was looking at him with a joking face, and a hint of solemnity flashed in his eyes. A wound nearly an inch deep pierced his chest. Although it was not heavy, it was definitely not light. He felt the burning pain from the wound, as if it was going to tear his chest apart. However, this injury was not what he thought of now. What really made him feel solemn and fearful was the power of the young ninja in front of him. He had felt that the ninja in front of him did not use his full strength when fighting with him in physical skills and ninjutsu, and in fact it was true. Just now, he suddenly increased his strength and speed, caught him off guard, and injured him. However, he knew clearly that with such power and speed, even if he was prepared, it would be difficult to resist. He clearly has the ability to win quickly, but he has been wasting time with him and is unwilling to show his true strength. What is this? Do you look down on him like this? A ball of anger surged in Killer Bee's heart. He used his fingers to pick up some blood from the wound on his chest and smeared it on his face. The whole person also lost a little bit of the taste of funny, and had more evil spirit. Killer Bee was furious and wanted to give the Uchiha kid in front of him a taste of his power. However, he also knew that the outcome of this battle was unpredictable. Especially after seeing Qianye's physical skills, it was even more so. He was considering whether to let the ninjas on the scene retreat first, but in the end, he still wanted to give it a try. Can he really defeat this kid from the Uchiha clan? Although he lost in physical skills, but his strongest point has never been physical skills, he is the perfect Jinchūriki. There is a terrible tailed beast on his body. This is his real confidence in the ninja world, and he is not afraid of anyone. It's time to show your true strength. Kurabi laughed, and at the same time, red chakra began to overflow from his body, covering his entire body. The powerful and vigorous chakra accumulated little by little, becoming more and more intense. Just by looking at it, one can feel the amazing destructive power of the red chakra. Behind Kurabi, tails formed by chakra gradually stood up. At the beginning, there was only one, and slowly it became 2, 3, 8. It was almost close to complete tailed beast transformation. What a terrible power! Beside, a group of ninjas from the Hidden Cloud Village had fanatical eyes. Perfect Jinchūriki. This is the perfect Jinchūriki of their Hidden Cloud Village. The indestructible and invincible Jinchūriki. In the face of such terrible power, who can compete? Only she and Samui's eyes became more and more solemn. Tailed beast transformation. This is definitely not good news. Absolutely not. This just means that Killer Bee has determined that it is impossible to defeat Uchiha Qianye with conventional means. Only with the help of the power of the tailed beast can he contend with it. In other words, this is already Killer Bee's last trump card. And what about Uchiha Qianye? In the process of fighting with Killer Bee, he only used physical skills, Sharingan. Would release. None of these extremely powerful bloodline limits are useful. This battle, she and Samui clenched their fists, and they couldn't help but feel a little nervous. The two looked at each other and nodded slightly, understanding what the other meant. Tailed Beast transformation is already Killer Bee's last trump card. If even the Tailed Beast transformation cannot defeat Uchiha Qianye, they can slip away in advance without waiting to see the result. Everyone, pay attention. She shouted to the scattered Kumogakure ninjas, Lord Killer Bee has already used the Tailed Beast transformation. The Tailed Beast possesses terrifying power, which is simply not something that ordinary ninjas can contend with. In order to avoid injury, everyone should keep their distance. We must keep our distance to avoid accidental injuries. Samui also emphasized, everyone retreat, keep your distance to avoid accidental injuries. Under the guise of accidental injuries, they were actually preparing for a possible escape. Qianye certainly noticed all this, but he did not stop them. To read the exciting novels, go to Faloo Novel Network. Because there was no need, none of these people could escape without his permission. Roar! Killer Bee roared in his tailed beast form. Now he no longer has that weird, lame rap, and he talks much less, but that wild and fierce aura is revealed all the time, becoming stronger and stronger. Swoosh! There is a sound of friction in the air. Killer Bee in his tailed beast form moves very fast. This is not the instant body technique, but just an ordinary movement, but it looks like teleportation, and only a red afterimage can be seen. He was in this place in the last second, and he was already somewhere else in the next second. Terrifying explosive power and destructive power. Even what Killer Bee has, the place where he stood was being destroyed all the time. In a breath, he was still a distance away, but he was already in front of Qianye. A palm with terrifying power slapped down heavily. Qianye performed the instant body technique and disappeared from the spot. The palm slapped into the air and hit a towering tree behind Qianye that required 3 or 4 people to surround. There was only a sound of a snap. The towering tree was cut in half and was about to fall. Before the tailed beast Killer Bee could tilt the tree, he had already appeared in front of Qianye again. This speed was more than 2 or 3 times faster than before the tailed beast. Is this the power of the tailed beast? Interesting. Qianye's expression was calm, and his face still had the same playful look as before. Killer Bee used his tailed beast transformation and finally looked like a decent opponent, and he was about to show off his true abilities. Thunder Plow, Hot Knife. Surrounded by chakra, Killer Bee, who had entered the second form of the tailed beast, did not care about any moves or body movements at all, and rushed over directly for a brutal collision. Wrapped in the red chakra of the tailed beast, Killer Bee seemed indestructible. Nothing could stop him, and he was unstoppable. Boom! Another big tree fell down. Boom! A huge rock covered with moss was smashed to pieces. Killer Bee, who had transformed into a tailed beast, showed his incomparable strength all the time. Qianye used extremely fast body movements to teleport, dodging very quickly between one point and one jump. On the surface, it seemed that Killer Bee was chasing Qianye everywhere, and Qianye had no power to fight back. The ninjas of the Hidden Cloud Village also recovered from the slump caused by Killer Bee's injury and restored Killer Bee's confidence. Only a very small number of ninjas and she, who was called the left hand of the fourth Raikage, and the best of the younger generation, Samui, who was known for his calm mind, gradually had a solemn look on their faces. They discovered something even more terrifying. In the previous fight with Killer Bee, the ability displayed by Uchiha Qianye was not much different from that of Killer Bee. Even if they all saw that Killer Bee was injured, even though they were Uchiha Qianye's subordinates, their judgment on the strength of both sides was still the same. Even if Uchiha Qianye was stronger, he would definitely not be much stronger. And after Killer Bee transformed into a tailed beast, his speed, explosive power, and destructive power were more than several times stronger. Logically speaking, it was no longer something Uchiha Qianye could handle, but for some reason, Uchiha Qianye could still keep up. No matter how fierce and violent the attack was, he could easily avoid it. In their eyes, the current Uchiha Qianye can only be described in 4 words: that is, unfathomable. At the same time, Killer Bee also noticed the abnormality, and the 8 tails in his body. They all felt that the Uchiha kid in front of them was a little too weird, especially the 8 tails. I don't know why, when looking at Uchiha Qianye's eyes flashing with blood-red light, he actually felt fear from the bottom of his heart. You know, a long time ago, the 8 tails has always been the tailed beast of the hidden cloud village. Over the past hundreds of years, he has seen countless powerful ninjas, even when facing the 3rd Raikage, the strongest Raikage in history, who was so strong that he was known to have the strongest spear and the strongest shield. He did not feel this kind of fear, but now, we can't fight anymore, I feel something is not right. 8 tails said to Killer Bee with some worry. Killer Bee was also a little dignified. The Uchiha clan kid in front of him could be regarded as the strongest opponent he had ever seen. If he was alone, he would not think twice and would leave immediately, but now, he is still shouldering the task of his brother, the 4th Raikage. At the beginning, he patted his chest and promised that he would complete the task successfully, but is he going to give up now? In addition, there are so many ninjas from the hidden cloud village here. If he can run, can these ninjas run? More than 100 elite ninjas at the Jonin level. This is a huge force for any ninja village. How can he abandon these ninjas and leave alone? Chapter 87. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ridiculously strong. No. We can't leave. Let's give it a try. Kurabi half closed his eyes, and his face, which was always funny and cynical, became very serious. Yahweh didn't say much about Kurabi's words. He has always respected Kurabi's opinions. Thunder plow hot knife. Killer Bee gathered chakra again, and rushed towards Qianye at a faster speed and with a more brutal and unreasonable attack method. No matter where he rushed, he was accompanied by an extremely terrifying braking force. In just half a minute, the originally dense trees and huge stones had been completely destroyed, scattered everywhere, and turned into a large open space. Qianye curled his lips, obviously losing interest in playing anymore. It is true that Killer Bee is very strong. Killer Bee in tailed beast form is even stronger. I am afraid that most of the shadow-level strongmen in this world will not be the opponent of Killer Bee, but unfortunately, the person he met was Uchiha Qianye. It is no exaggeration to say that now, unless it is a super shadow-level strongman, others are not taken seriously by Qianye at all. Let's try the newly learned forbidden technique. Qianye muttered to himself. Boom. Kurabi rushed over again. Before he rushed to the front, he brought a powerful and terrifying gust of wind, as if to blow people away. Qianye immediately performed the body flash technique. However, this time the body flash technique was obviously different from any previous one. The previous body flash technique disappeared immediately, and when it appeared, it was already in another place, more like teleportation, but the current body flash technique left a trail of afterimages in the original place. The afterimages were very clear, and the trajectory of Qianye's movement could be clearly seen. Are you tired? You stupid idiot. You stupid idiot. Killer Bee, who had transformed into a half-tailed beast, couldn't help but rap. He was relieved. Damn it, I'm finally tired. If I wasn't tired, even he, who had transformed into a tailed beast, couldn't stand it. Looking at the trajectory of the afterimage, Killer Bee immediately determined Qianye's landing point. In the blink of an eye, he had changed the trajectory of movement and rushed towards the direction of Qianye's landing point. Even the strongest Kage-level warriors would be seriously injured under such an impact. Uchiha Qianye is no exception. The speed of Killer Bee's half-tailed beast movement is so fast. With a swish, he had already hit the place where the afterimage finally landed. However, the feeling of hitting the soft flesh that he imagined did not come. It was like a fierce punch that hit the air completely. Didn't hit? Killer Bee was surprised and had a bad premonition. At this moment, he heard the voice of the 8 tails. By left. Get out of the way. What? Killer Bee was startled and looked to the left, where the afterimage appeared before. He saw that Uchiha Qianye, with a calm face and a bit of amusement, was looking at him coldly. Then he jumped up and stomped down hard. Killer Bee widened his eyes. He knew clearly how exaggerated the speed and reaction of the moment were after the tailed beast, but now, under Uchiha Qianye's seemingly ordinary kick, he felt desperate. Can't dodge. Can't dodge at all. Even with his current exaggerated speed, he can't dodge. Boom! Another loud bang. But this time it was no longer Killer Bee who was savagely colliding and destroying everywhere, instead, he was kicked down from the air by Qianye. The terrifying force made Killer Bee, who was protected by the tailed beast chakra and his own lightning chakra, come into close contact with the ground. Along with the loud bang, dust rose up on the ground and did not dissipate for a long time. It could only be vaguely seen that the ground a large deep pit appeared on the ground. Killer Bee's buttocks fell backwards and his whole body sank into the deep pit, and he couldn't get out. The lightning chakra he used to protect himself had disappeared. Originally, the extremely terrifying and unpredictable red-tailed beast chakra had become much lighter, and the 8 chakra tails were beaten down to only 3. The operational ninjas who were watching the battle on the side were staring in a daze, their eyes widened, their mouths slightly opened, and they couldn't say a word. Defeated. The perfect Jinchūriki was defeated. And he was defeated in a moment. He had always had an absolute advantage, how could he be defeated suddenly? They didn't understand, and everyone fell into endless horror. She and Samui were also extremely surprised by what was happening now, and for a moment they even forgot to organize the ninjas of the hidden cloud village to escape. They just looked at Killer Bee in the deep pit in disbelief. There was also the godlike young man standing aside with blood-red eyes, the dangerous box of bliss. Anyone who opens it will die. Leave quickly, or you will die. Killer Bee, who was hit deep in the ground, endured the severe pain from all parts of his body and sang this intermittent and very lame rap to remind the ninjas of the hidden cloud village to leave quickly. He really didn't have the confidence to stop this terrible young man from the Uchiha clan. Cough cough cough. While coughing, the whole person suddenly soared into the sky like a cannonball, and then landed heavily on the ground. Qianye's kick contained an extremely terrifying power. With such power, it was enough to crush an elite jonin to death as easily as crushing an ant, but it is not so easy to kill a Kage-level strongman. To read the exciting novel, go to Faloo Novel Network. What's more, Killer Bee is not an ordinary Kage-level strongman, he is also a perfect Jinchūriki. The kick just now was protected by the chakra of the tailed beast. He looked embarrassed, but it is not necessarily to say that he was seriously injured. Go. After hearing Kurabi's reminder, she did not hesitate and immediately mobilized the ninjas of the hidden cloud village to retreat. Now that Kurabi was blocking them, it was their greatest hope to retreat. It would be too late if they didn't leave. After receiving the order, the ninjas of the hidden cloud village immediately retreated to the surrounding areas. They had made all the plans long before the plan was implemented. It was decided that if anything unexpected happened, they would be forced to scatter and eventually meet again there. Only Samui remained where he was, with a worried look on his face. Samui, let's go. She came over and patted Samui on the shoulder. This young man was a young talent that even the fourth Raikage valued very much, so no accidents could happen to him. No, I want to stay here and wait for the teacher. Samui looked at Kurabi with a worried look on his face. She frowned and persuaded, let's go first. With Lord Kurabi's strength, as long as he wants to leave, no one can stop him. You will become a burden if you stay here. Go. Samui shook her head. Before she saw Uchiha Qianye's true strength, she thought so, but now, she is not so sure. Uchiha Qianye is too strong. Can her teacher really get away? She is not sure, but she has an answer in her heart, that is, no, I won't leave. Master Kurabi is my teacher. In this crisis, how can I abandon him and run for my life? Sam said stubbornly. She knew that even if she stayed, it would be useless. This level of confrontation was not something she could intervene in, but, as she said, her teacher was here, and she couldn't leave. You, Itachi frowned and wanted to say something, but after moving his lips, he didn't say a word. He just sighed and shook his head. Then he left with a body flash technique. As the commander of this operation, he had to take care of the overall situation and take care of the majority of ninjas. He didn't ignore the main task because of one or two ninjas. Even though Samui and Kurabi's identities and status were very special, it was the same. You idiot, you fool. Kurabi looked at Samui, who was still stubbornly staying where he was and refused to leave, and felt helpless. His apprentice was just stubborn. He let out a long breath and looked at Qianye again. Before, whether it was his reminder or Shi's organization of all the ninjas from the hidden cloud village to leave, Uchiha Qianye did not stop them at all, just watched. This made Kurabi feel a little uneasy, but at this juncture, he couldn't think so much. First, stop Uchiha Qianye, create time for the ninjas from the hidden cloud village to leave, and find an opportunity to take Samui away as soon as possible. This is what he should do most. Thunder plow hot knife. Kurabi roared. The chakra that was originally dispersed by Qianye began to condense again and spread all over his body. The tails behind him also began to stand up little by little, increasing to 8 tails, and once again Qianye rushed over savagely. Qianye had just broken his move before, but he still used the same move to test. This is certainly not because Killer Bee is a fool who is stubborn and does not believe in evil. On the contrary, under the mask of Killer Bee that seems to be funny, cynical and rude, his heart is actually very delicate. He uses the same ninjutsu to attack, and Qianye will also use the same ninjutsu to break it, and under the protection of the tailed beast's chakra, he will at most look a little embarrassed, but in fact he will not suffer many injuries. After a few times, as long as the number of times, he can always see the flaws in Qianye's ninjutsu, and find a way to win. This is Killer Bee's calculation. In this world, no matter what kind of ninjutsu, there are flaws and defects. When facing powerful ninjutsu, don't be afraid, don't panic, always keep a calm mind to analyze, and you will always find a way to win. So, the savage collisions began again and again. Boom 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 boom. Loud noises. One deep pit after another. Killer Bee was beaten back again and again, but he rushed forward again and again, showing his firm will to never give up. However, after so many attacks, his understanding of the Thousand Nights ninjutsu did not change at all. He still knew nothing. Later, he couldn't help but have some doubts in his heart. Should we try again? Chapter 88. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Tailed Beast Ball. Crush. Samui on the other side also frowned, even though she has always been calm and knowledgeable, but now looking at the ninjutsu used by Uchiha Qianye, she has no clue. It looks like the instant body technique, but it is different from the ordinary instant body technique. How can the ordinary instant body technique have such terrible power? No. Instant body. Samui seemed to remember something in a trance. During the Third Ninja World War, there was a young ninja in Konoha who used the magical instant body technique to shine, helped Konoha establish a great military exploit. People at that time called that ninja, instant body Shursui. It was Uchiha Shursui. The instant body technique used by Uchiha Qianye now is the instant body technique of Uchiha Shursui at that time. Got it. Everything is clear. No wonder this instant body technique has such terrible power. Even Killer Bee, who has transformed into a half-tailed beast, suffered a lot when he used the thunder plow hot knife. Teacher Kurabi, instant body Shursui. This is the instant body technique used by Uchiha Shursui during the Third Ninja World War. Samui said to Killer Bee, who was using the thunder plow and hot knife to attack and test him. Killer Bee frowned when he heard it. It turned out to be that kind of ninjutsu. No wonder. He had participated in the Third Ninja World War, so of course he would have heard of the name Instant Body Shursui. During the war, Instant Body Shursui was a big worry for their hidden cloud village. They put a lot of effort into researching and wanted to understand this powerful ninjutsu, but they got nothing. They just knew that this instant body technique was very different from the ordinary instant body technique. It might involve the space and time level is extremely difficult to crack. When performing it, a series of phantoms will appear in the original place. At this time, each phantom is an illusion, and each phantom is also an entity. To be more precise, whichever one you attack is an illusion, and any one you do not attack may become an entity. It is simply impossible to defend against it, and it cannot be stopped. Ordinary ninjas, no matter how many people there are, when you see the instant body technique, remember one word: run. Run quickly, the faster the better, the farther the better, and never hesitate, because instant body Shursui is simply it is not something that ordinary ninjas can defeat with numbers. Even powerful ninjas must remember not to get entangled with instant body Shursui. An instant body technique directly switches back and forth between the virtual body and the real body. Whichever one you hit will be the virtual body, the others will turn into real bodies and attack. It can be said that they are Born invincible, why fight? Why fight? Just run away when you meet him. Information about this powerful instant body technique quickly flooded into Killer Bee's mind. He knew what kind of opponent he was facing, and his face gradually became uglier, until after the Third Ninja World War, they still hadn't found a solution to restrain this powerful instant body technique. Fortunately, although this instant body technique is powerful, it also requires extremely high standards from the ninja. Over the years, only Uchiha Shisui has been able to master it. Moreover, Uchiha Shisui, who became famous for the instant body technique, died unexpectedly some time ago, which made many ninjas in the Hidden Cloud village breathe a sigh of relief. I thought that this powerful and terrifying instant body technique would be lost forever. Unexpectedly, another one mastered it so quickly. Have you guessed it? Yes, this is the instant body technique, one of the two forbidden techniques that Qianye got from the Konoha forbidden technique. Qianye did not slack off on this journey. In addition to rushing on the road, he was also improving himself step by step, trying to make himself stronger. He firmly believed that no matter what time it was, only strong strength was the greatest guarantee. Therefore, even now he has 5 superpowers with the Otsutsuki physique, would escape, Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, 80 God's Air Attack and the Lord of Elements. There are very few people in the world who can be his opponent, but he still has to improve himself. In the near future, there will be stronger enemies. He must ensure that at that time, he has the ability to protect himself and even determine the world situation. I don't know if it's because of the Otsutsuki physique, no matter what ninjutsu Qianye learns, the speed is fast. Even he himself is a little surprised. When he was in the ninja school, his talent could only be considered okay, not bad, but definitely not very good, at least compared with ninjas such as Sasuke Kakashi and Uchiha Itachi who are called genius ninjas. He is far behind. How come he can do it at a glance now? After thinking about it, it can only be because of the physique of the Otsutsuki, which makes him completely reborn, so that he doesn't need to bother to learn at all, and can easily master ninjutsu. Even the extremely difficult forbidden techniques such as Flying Thunder God technique and instant body technique can be easily mastered. However, mastering is mastering. Because of Konoha, there were no enemies blocking their way along the way. Qianye had no chance to try out the new ninjutsu he mastered. Until now, he used the instant body technique for the first time in actual combat. The effect, of course, I am satisfied. After all, this is a ninjutsu involving space and time. He looked at Killer Bee indifferently, and took another look at Samui. As early as in his previous life, he had some impression of this tolerant and big female ninja. Today, he saw that she was indeed extraordinary. It was indeed a sign of great misfortune. However, this female ninja is not so big and brainless. She is too smart. Killer Bee, who has been through hundreds of battles and is very experienced, didn't recognize this instant body technique, but Samui saw it at a glance. It's really amazing, but seeing it is one thing, and being able to break it is another. To read the exciting novels, go to Faloo Novel Network. The instant body technique, at least until now, Qianye has completely mastered this terrible ninjutsu, and no one knows how to break it easily, unless the person who breaks it has a strength far beyond his own. This Killer Bee and the tailed beast Killer Bee do not have it, fully transformed into a tailed beast. Killer Bee used his ultimate move. After knowing what kind of enemy he was facing, he no longer had any reservations. He completely transformed himself into a tailed beast, and became the appearance of the 8 tails, a giant bull with 8 tails spread out like an octopus. As soon as he appeared, he brought an extremely terrifying momentum. It was many times stronger than the half-tailed beast Killer Bee. The 8 tails roared vigorously. The roar was deafening. Samui on the side had tried hard to cover her ears, but she could still feel a tingling sensation deep into her bones. Fortunately, the 8 tails was not targeting her, otherwise just this roar at a close distance would be enough to make him faint. Qianye remained calm. Beside him, a giant dragon dozens of meters long began to condense. He was slowly lifted into the air. At the same time, his eyes became more blood-red and charming. Under such a gaze, the 8 tails became more and more afraid. It was a fear from the bottom of his heart, and he couldn't help wanting to surrender. What a terrible eyes. Legend has it that the 9 tails was the tailed beast of the legendary ninja Uchiha. Uchiha Madara used the Sharingan to control the 9 tails. And now he has encountered the same eyes. although, no matter how powerful Uchiha Qianye is now, he can't compare to the original Uchiha Madara. However, the strength of the 8 tails is not as good as the 9 tails. He really felt the power that was so powerful that it made people want to surrender unconsciously. It's really too powerful. No wonder so many people in this world want it. Ah bah, what's wrong with you? As a perfect Jinchūriki, Killer Bee can accurately sense the changes in the 8 tails state. The 8 tails, which should have been as arrogant as the devil, is now afraid. I hate those eyes. Let's go, we can't possibly beat him. 8 tails said somewhat embarrassedly. The tailed beasts are proud and arrogant, they are confident that their power is the most powerful in the world, but now, he had to admit that the pressure brought to him by the human in front of him made him not even have the slightest thought of resisting. Okay. Killer Bee agreed. He also saw that Uchiha Qianye was too powerful, and his strength was unfathomable, even he was no match for him. He stopped here before because he wanted to try again and create time for the ninjas of the hidden cloud village to escape, but now, he has tried and is no match for him at all. After such a long time, the ninjas of the hidden cloud village should have run far away. It's time for him to leave. Ah bah, the tailed beast ball. Killer Bee said in a deep voice, this is the most powerful ninjutsu he can use now. It is made of the yin-yang chakra of the tailed beasts in a specific proportion. Each one has extremely terrifying power, enough to cause mountains to collapse and the earth to crack. A black sphere began to condense. The volume is not large, but it contains extremely terrifying power. After the condensation is successful, it is immediately thrown in the direction of Qianye. Boom. A loud bang. Accompanied by billowing smoke and debris, the river water was evaporated, half of the forest was razed to the ground, and all living things were killed. It is really a devastating force. Killer Bee and the 8 tails stared at the center of the battlefield. They were looking for Uchiha Qianye's traces. There was nothing, just when they were staring at each other, at a loss, suddenly, Samui's exclamation was heard, Teacher Killer Bee. Behind him. Behind him. Kurabi and Yabi turned their heads at the same time. They saw Uchiha Qianye looking at them indifferently, with a teasing look on his face. Then, he raised his foot and stomped down hard. Just like the ordinary moves he used before. Boom. Dust rolled, and a deep pit appeared on the ground. Chapter 89. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Can you hide it from these eyes? Cough cough cough. Killer Bee and 8 tails slowly climbed out of the pit, their hearts heavy. How did Uchiha Qianye get behind them? The instant body technique? I don't think so. There is no afterimage at all and it is so far away. How could the instant body technique come over? This is definitely not the instant body technique. Then what is this? How did this Uchiha kid master so many powerful ninjutsu? Do you remember the yellow flash of Konoha that we encountered during the Third Ninja World War? The yellow flash of Konoha. The words of the 8 tails reminded Killer Bee. It reminded him of another ninjutsu that became famous in the ninja world during the Third Ninja World War, Flying Thunder God technique. Is it this kind of ninjutsu? Killer Bee frowned and glanced at his back. Sure enough, he saw a familiar Flying Thunder God technique. Hiss. Flying Thunder God. Compared with the flying body technique he had seen before, he was more familiar with the Flying Thunder God technique, because, he had not only heard of it, he had actually faced this extremely terrifying ninjutsu. As long as the Flying Thunder God technique was printed on the target's body, it could be moved to the target instantly, even if the distance between them was far, there would be no hindrance. At the beginning, he and his brother, the current 4th Raikage, met the yellow flash of Konoha, who later became the 4th Hokage, Minato Namikaze. The two sides had a brief fight, although it ended in a draw in the end, but the magical Flying Thunder God of Yellow Flash still left him with an extremely deep impression. They were 2-1 at that time, and it ended in a draw. In terms of timing, they had already lost. 697 now, Killer Bee recognized this familiar technique at a glance. This is the Flying Thunder God technique. The already very solemn mentality became even heavier. The instant body technique, the Flying Thunder God technique, the Sharingan, the wood release, the super strong physical technique. is this really a young ninja who is only 16 or 17 years old? No matter how talented he is, how could he master so many ninjutsu at such a young age? This is too abnormal, not to mention the current ninja world. Even if the previous hundreds of years are added together, there may be no stronger ninja than Uchiha Qianye at this age. Ah bah, get ready, continuous-tailed beast balls. Good. The 8 tails began to gather energy again, this time the gathered energy was more and more powerful. Because this was not an ordinary tailed beast ball, but a continuous tailed beast ball, as the name suggests, the tailed beast ball is prepared in advance and then thrown continuously, causing multiple damage and destructive power. Soon, the tailed beast ball was ready. As a perfect Jinchūriki, Killer Bee can completely merge with the 8 tails, and can perform all kinds of ninjutsu at will. Even a big move like the continuous tailed beast ball does not take long at all. Go! Killer Bee roared, and then the 8 tails began to spit out tailed beast balls continuously towards Qianye. This time, in order to prevent Qianye from using Flying Thunder God to dodge behind him again, he also deliberately increased the angle and range, and remained vigilant at all times. Boom 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 boom. Loud noises. The huge energy destroyed everything around. Samui had been protected by Killer Bee in advance, otherwise, under such a violent attack, Samui's strength would not be able to survive. Spit out more than 10 tailed beast balls in a row. Even a powerful beast like the 8 tails, which has a vast amount of chakra, consumes a lot of energy. Killer Bee was breathing heavily. The 8 tails also looked exhausted. But they did not hesitate at all. After releasing more than 10 tailed beast balls, they chose to retreat. Having seen Uchiha Qiye's ability, they knew that even with such an attack, they must not let Uchiha Qiye die. They did this for only one purpose, it was to stop Uchiha Qiye for a while so that they could take the opportunity to escape, and now is the time. Go! Kurabi shouted and left quickly with Samui. However, just when he was less than 20 meters away, several trees suddenly rose from the ground on the ground that had been raised to the ground and entangled with the 8 tails. The 8 tails, which had just released the tailed beast balls continuously, struggled to break free. There was only a click. All the trees broke. However, before the 8 tails took a few steps forward, more trees rose from the ground and entangled with it. This time, there were more trees, denser and tougher. However, the 8 tails was the 8 tails after all. Even if the 8 tails was not in its peak state and its strength was not as good as before, the terrifying power was still shocking. Crack! After just one more breath, all the trees broke again. Roar! 8 tail roared, and continued to fly forward. Along the way, there were trees blocking the way, but without exception, it broke free. It was impossible to stop it, and it was unstoppable. However, at this moment, a wooden dragon appeared in the sky and rushed towards 8 tail fiercely. To read the exciting novel, go to Faloo Novel Network. Roar! A dragon and an ox roared almost at the same time, then they rushed towards each other. Just when the two sides were about to collide, the wooden dragon changed direction and became entangled. The wooden dragon, which was dozens of meters long, tied up the 8-tailed beast tightly. The 8-tailed beast was strong, with tendons all over his body, full of tyrannical power. The wooden dragon was surrounded by a dark green light. It was called a wooden dragon, but in fact it was more like it was cast from steel, and its whole body was full of shocking power. Under the entanglement of the two, it was more of a confrontation of power. Roar! 8-tail roared. The muscles all over his body were squeezed by the wooden dragon, which made him look even more terrifying. Under such a terrifying force, the wooden dragon made a creaking sound and almost broke completely, but the cracks just appeared, and they kept recovering. Bah! Something's wrong. Chakra. The wood dragon will continuously absorb our chakra. Kurabi discovered the abnormality at the first time. Logically speaking, under the powerful force of the 8 tails, the wood dragon can only hold on for a short while before being completely torn apart, but now it has held on until now. Not only has the previous crack been repaired, but the entanglement has also become tighter. It turns out that the wood dragon can continuously absorb chakra and repair itself. I have to say, it's so strong. Ah bah, you can't keep wasting time like this. Gather your strength and make a quick decision. Kurabi warned. The wood dragon can continuously absorb chakra. the chakra of the eight-tail will become less and less, with one increasing while the other decreasing. How can they break free? Using the explosive power of a moment to break free directly is the best way. Good. Eight-tailed obviously realized this. He took a long breath and gathered all his strength to break free. The crackling sound of breaking sounded again. The brilliance on the wooden dragon also began to weaken little by little. All of this was a sign that the wooden dragon was about to be torn apart. Come on. Ah bah. It will be done soon. Ah, Kurabi kept encouraging them, but his voice suddenly stopped in the middle of his speech, because he saw a figure walking slowly towards them, Uchiha Qianye. His eyes flashed with blood-red light. Inside his pupils, 3 magatama were in the shape of blades, connected end to end. That is Mangekyo Sharingan. At this time, Killer Bee no longer had the funny look he had before, and his slapping rap had not appeared for a long time. Now there was only shock in his heart. The legendary eyes. Those were the eyes that only Uchiha Madara had in the legend, the Mangekyo Sharingan. At the same time, the Eight Tails' resistance gradually weakened. Because of those eyes, he felt fear from the bottom of his heart. He unconsciously wanted to surrender. He could no longer raise the heart to resist. Such terrible eyes. Qianye walked in step by step, his expression indifferent and cold. 100 years ago, the first generation of Hokage in his peak state, known as the god of ninja, Senju Hashirama, once he used wood style, wood dragon technique to suppress the Nine Tails, but now, when facing the Eight Tails in a weakened state after using the tailed beast balls continuously, he cannot use the wood dragon technique to subdue it. In the end, he has to rely on his Mangekyo Sharingan. It seems that even now, he is still a little bit behind Hashirama Senju in his peak state. Qianye let out a long breath, his expression neither happy nor sad. Although he is not as good as Hashirama Senju now, it is only temporary. He is still young and has a lot of room for improvement. He believes that one day he will reach the level of Hashirama Senju, or even surpass him. Uchiha Qianye walked in front of Killer Bee. The original Eight Tails had returned to Killer Bee's body because of the complete depletion of chakra, and it might not come out in a short time. Killer Bee also fainted. Next to him was Samui. Qianye waved his hand casually, and climbed up from several vines on the ground, and tied up the 2 unconscious people on the ground tightly. Then Qianye used a body flickering technique and jumped into the distance. Qianye has the physique of an Otsutsuki, and has mastered the forbidden level of body flickering technique. Now his speed is far beyond the comprehension of ordinary people. Not long after, a very close person he had already left behind the distance, he came to the real hiding place of the Uchiha clan. The ninjas of the hidden cloud village thought they were in control of everything, but they didn't know that everything was completely under Qianye's control. Even in order to deal with the Sharingan, they deliberately kept a long distance, but unfortunately, they were not facing ordinary Sharingans, but eternal Mangekyo Sharingans. That distance could deceive ordinary Sharingans, but definitely not eternal Mangekyo Sharingans. As early as when the people of the hidden cloud village took action, Qianye had already prepared in advance and brought all the people here. Chapter 90. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The helplessness of the hidden cloud village. Paying money to redeem the people. Qianye is back. It's Qianye. Seeing Qianye coming back, the Uchiha clan members hurriedly surrounded him. Qianye, nothing unexpected happened, right? The elder walked over with a smile, his expression gentle. Of course, he knew that with Qianye's ability, it was impossible for anything to happen, but he still asked symbolically, yes. Qianye nodded and ordered his men to take Kurabi and Samui, who he had captured, away and keep them under guard. Then, he looked at the Great Elder and said, Great Elder, how are you doing here? Don't worry. The Great Elder laughed and waved behind him. Immediately, 2 Uchiha clan ninjas came over with a ninja from the hidden cloud village. It was she, who had escaped before and was called the left hand of the 4th Raikage. This time, Qianye's goal was to disrupt the plan of the hidden cloud village and capture Killer Bee. As for the remaining hidden cloud village ninjas, they were handed over to the Uchiha clan members. Qianye didn't want them to eat dry food or be a burden, but to put them to use. If he couldn't even catch these hidden cloud village ninjas who were demoralized and fleeing in a panic, then what was the use of these Uchiha clan members? However, judging from the results, it didn't seem to be bad, the mission was more or less successfully completed, bring him here. Qianye waved to the ninjas who were escorting Shi. Immediately, the two ninjas came over with Shi. Are you the leader of this operation? Qianye said calmly without even raising his eyelids, such a person was not worthy of his attention. Yes, Mr. Qianye. She said respectfully, on the one hand, it was because of his awareness as a prisoner, and on the other hand, it was because the strength shown by Qianye had conquered him. It's you who still want to take action against our Uchiha clan. What a joke. Don't you know how to pee and see what kind of character you have? The Uchiha clan members beside him mocked. She was still calm and composed. Qianye looked at him with a higher opinion. It took 10 people to do this, Mr. Qianye. On behalf of Lord Raikage, I deeply regret the actions of the Hidden Cloud Village. This time it was our fault. I hope you can show mercy and let us go. Our Cloud Village is one of the 5 largest ninja villages in the world. If Mr. Qianye can let us go, our Lord Raikage will definitely be grateful for your mercy and will be very happy to make friends with you. She looked at Qianye and said lightly, he didn't look like a prisoner at all. He was obviously an envoy for communication and negotiation. Qianye chuckled. Ordinary people might not have heard anything from Shi's mouth, but he was different. Please be merciful, make friends, such polite words, but this is obviously a threat. This is telling him clearly, the Cloud Village is powerful. Letting them go can make friends, but not letting them go will make them enemies. You must know that the Cloud Village is now in existence, that Konoha is unwilling to offend. How dare the Uchiha clan offend them? Qianye looked at Shi and said lightly, make friends is good. We Uchiha clan like to make friends. So, Mr. Qianye is willing to let us go. Shi's eyes revealed a hint of joy, but it was quickly hidden. Although he was a little surprised in his heart, he thought it shouldn't be that simple, but, maybe? Their Cloud Hidden Village has a great reputation. Who dares to be an enemy of their Cloud Shadow Village? As for the so-called making friends, it's just a verbal rhetoric. Have you ever seen a lion and a sheep make friends? The great elder on the side was so anxious that he wanted to interrupt the conversation between the two. Of course, he knew that the Cloud Hidden Village was powerful and could not be offended easily. But if he let people go like this, wouldn't he appear too weak? If this matter gets out in the future, wouldn't any ninja village dare to come and step on it? How can their Uchiha clan gain a foothold in the ninja world? However, in the end, he still didn't say a word, because he knew that Qianye was not such an easy person to deal with, and this matter would definitely not be let go. Just wait with peace of mind. Let go? You can release it. Qianye nodded slowly, but, you have to pay for it. It's just a little money. Fine. If you have any other requests, please tell me, Mr. Qianye. As long as I can do it, I will never refuse. She said hurriedly, more than 100 elite jonin. There is also the outstanding of the younger generation, Samui, and the perfect Jinchūriki, the younger brother of the 4th Raikage, Killer Bee. As long as these people can be brought back, no matter how high the price is, it is acceptable. However, in his opinion, the so-called giving money is just an excuse. It's just to save face. Can you really ask for a lot and make the Hidden Cloud Village bleed a lot? Aren't you afraid of offending the Hidden Cloud Village? 1 million taels. Qianye quoted the price. Okay, no problem. 1 million, that 1 million taels per person. Qianye emphasized. She was stunned. One person. 1 million taels. You have to know that in the world of Naruto, a bowl of ramen only costs 60 taels. 1 million taels is a huge sum of money. 1 million taels per person. There are more than 100 people, which means they need more than 100 million taels. Mr. Qianye, you are not kidding, are you? She looked at Qianye and asked. He even suspected that Qianye didn't know what a huge number 1 million taels was. However, Qianye just glanced at him indifferently. No. To read the violent novels, go to Faloo Novel Network. There's no point in keeping you around, just kill them all. Yes. The ninja on the side received the order and directly pulled Shi to go. 1 million taels. If it works, keep it. If it doesn't, kill them. The attitude was tough, and there was no sign of any easing. She believed that Qianye really wanted to kill them. he also realized how ridiculous his previous thoughts were. Afraid of the hidden cloud village, did not dare to attack them. I'm afraid they just wanted money. Wait. Wait. Mr. Qianye, yes. Yes. 1,000,000 taels per person is fine. She shouted hurriedly, can you make the decision? The elder interrupted with a serious expression. In fact, he was already very happy in his heart. He knew that with Qianye's character, he would never let the Uchiha people suffer. Good guy, 1,000,000 taels per person. If he were to negotiate the price, I'm afraid it would be impossible to negotiate like this. This is not negotiating, this is open robbery, this is robbery. They have already received a lot of money from Konoha before. Now with the money given by the hidden cloud village, the Uchiha clan can live a happy life without worries about food and clothing no matter where they are. Yes. I can. There are a total of 123 ninjas from the hidden cloud village. We will definitely give them 1,000,000 ryo each. She swallowed his saliva. He could see that this Uchiha man, who was so powerful that he was terribly fearless. When negotiating with such a person, don't have any fluke in your heart, because it will only make you suffer. No. No, no. Qianye shook his head. Other ninjas get 1,000,000 taels each, but you three have special identities, so 1,000,000 taels is not enough. He was referring to Shi, Samui and Kurabi. You have to pay more. Ah. She was stunned. More money. What about our price? She asked. Qianye thought for a moment and said, the Jinchūriki is the most expensive, the woman is second, and you are the cheapest. I'll think about the specific price. I'm the cheapest. She felt mixed emotions for a moment. It was difficult to tell whether this was good news or bad news, but in any case, the matter was finally resolved. No matter how much the price was, the important thing was that no one was hurt, especially the perfect Jinchūriki killer bee. His importance to the hidden cloud village could not be measured by money. As long as he could be safe, the Raikage would not hesitate no matter how much money he was given. He sighed deeply and said, okay, that, I accept all. May I ask, when can we leave? You can all go, but the Jinchūriki and the female ninja must stay. When the money arrives, I will naturally let them go. There are more than 100 captive Qianye ninjas. It is not realistic to take them all with you. Apart from other things, feeding and supervision are also a problem. It is best to selectively keep a few people. Among all the captive ninjas, the one with the highest status is the perfect Jinchūriki killer bee, the younger brother of the fourth Raikage. Therefore, killer bee must be kept. As for the female ninja, she is also a hero of the younger generation of Qianye and a very important person. If these two people are left, there is no need to worry that Qianye will go back on their word and not pay the money. Can't you put us all back? With the reputation of our hidden cloud village, we will never regret it. Please believe us. She looked at Qianye sincerely. If the people of the hidden cloud village stay here for one more day, it will increase the variables. Who knows what will happen? The tailed beast on killer bee is the top priority, and no mistakes are allowed. And Samui, young and beautiful, with a hot body, staying in the Uchiha clan, isn't it a sheep walking into a tiger's mouth? Although since the conditions have been negotiated, these possibilities are not great, but what if? Are you negotiating with me? Qianye glanced at Shi coldly. His eyes were cold and filled with murderous intent. Shi's heart trembled, and he felt fear from the bottom of his heart. Impossible. The great elder next to him also said, one hand hands over the money, the other hand hands over the person. We are fair in our work. As long as the hidden cloud village gives us what we want, we will naturally release the Jinchūriki back. His tone was gentle, but very firm. Obviously, there was no room for negotiation. She had no choice but to temporarily agree. Afterwards, after confirming the value of Shi, killer bee, and Samui, Qianye ordered someone to make a list and gave it to Shi. Then, according to the agreement, all the ninjas of the hidden cloud village were released first. Qianye took the Uchiha clan and the captured killer bee and Samui and continued to go to the land of water.